All right, Mao. I know your topic is what I forgot to mention earlier, the Marvel Champions card game the FFG's putting out, and you got the playtest at Gen Con. I didn't get the playtest and I was sad. So let's talk about it. You're ready to talk about it, right? No, he's gone. That's not the topic.
He literally left us because
he's just like, no.
He's like, I'm done. I'm tired of this podcast.
I'm just sitting here in silence. Mao is
the Whoopi of the podcast.
He's like, I'm done. I quit.
The Whoopi, the trope. You're the one that always gets picked on.
Like he actually got on a call with his manager. I can't do this anymore. I'm not up anymore.
I am legitimately excited to play that game though. But anyways,
I don't even know what it is.
Fantasy Flight's putting out a LCG that's Marvel. So there you go. They got the Marvel rights. I guess Upper Deck. But anyways,
of course they would.
Anywho, my topic is on something that you have been playing, that is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
The latest in 200+ hour games.
Yeah. This game is awesome.
It is, isn't it?
It came out July 26th. It's the latest Fire Emblem in the long series. What is there?
So many.
I think it's 13th or 14th. I can't remember.
It seems like there's more than that to me, but
I don't know. But
spin-offs and such.
I think it's the 7th maybe in America. I can't. Anyway, it's for the Switch, and yeah, they really changed up how they've been doing it, or at least since the last two main series, which had changed up the series since before it.
Do you think Persona influenced them, Mal? Just a little bit?
Yes. It had to have, right?
Yeah, it did. Totally.
I mean, they got... So the idea... So it's... you play a... so you were a mercenary, and you the prologue is you basically saving these kids from a bandit attack, and it turns out they're the three heirs to the three different nations of this
continent, Vodland,
the Fodlan continent, and they all are enrolled at in Garreg Monastery. Yes, which is a just like
an officer's academy.
Yeah. And you get the role of professor, and then you get to choose which of there are three houses, one for each of them, and you get to choose.
They each really want you to join their kingdom,
right? And they got the idea from a older, like the fourth installment, Fire Emblem: Genealogy of the Holy War, which had like these three characters from different kingdoms and stuff, but that never came out over here. So they changed a lot of the gameplay. There's no weapon triangle. They took away everyone, like they took away S supports for everyone, because this game features a very large part about the Fire Emblem series, even though it is a tactical RPG, which is like, Final Fantasy Tactics or something, where it's, characters on squares, you move around and you attack things. But a large part of the Fire Emblem fandom is in the characters. Like, the gameplay is...
It's why the gacha game was so successful, probably.
Everyone has their favorite characters from all these games.
Waifu Wars!
All the Waifu Wars.
Well, yeah, so...
the Husbando Holy War.
Awakening, which would have been 2 main series games ago, because there was one other game, side game since then.
Which we talked about in the very early stages of the podcast.
Yes. The remake of the second installment. But anyway, Awakening, they added like a lot more of the waifu focus. Basically, you could marry up everyone and everyone could have kids, basically. And it ended up sort of saving the series.
Yeah.
Basically, if Awakening ended up selling worse than other Fire Emblems had sold at that point, the series probably would have been shelved. And Awakening sold pretty well, so they kept going. And then they came out with Fates, which they did this weird. There's 2 games like Pokemon, but there's also a third DLC story, which I think they sort of took and adapted. Like,
yeah, this is the early stages of this idea. Yeah.
This one is much better.
Yeah, because that one's 2 Warring Kingdoms. And the version of the game you buy is the kingdom that you have aligned yourself with. They eventually came out with a third one where you kind of like didn't choose either kingdom, essentially.
Right. And so there are no kids in this one, which is like something I am super happy about, because I like them in Awakening, but they felt like really forced in Fates. Mm-hmm. And
they just come out the mist at the edge of the continent or whatever.
Yeah,
it made no sense at all.
It's very weird. So this game though features so typically you go from basically mission to mission, like fight to fight, like just you play a map. Once you beat it, you just go to the next map. That's and the story progresses. Like you get, it just tells story at you in between the maps. In this one, it's broken down like Persona and some other
give me that sweet life sim. Give me those life sim elements.
Life sim RPGs. You get to manage your time. You teach for the week. You get to set your character's goals. And then on Sundays, you get a free day, and you can go around and talk to people, do like little quests, or teach a seminar. You can fish, you can garden,
and setting your goals is very important, because this is basically the progression of your character. In Fire Emblem, you usually start with a base beginner class, then you rank up to you basically get like a prestige class, then you prestige again and again. And this is kind of how you like plot it out, because your teaching is one of the main ways that you increase people's skill ranks. So like weapon ranks, heavy armor, riding, flying, magic, those kind of things.
Yeah, in older ones, your character would be fixed to a class, and you'd only get to go up like once or twice, depending on if they're like a villager or not. But in this one, anyone can... you can make anyone just about any class that isn't gender locked, as long as you've built up their skills for that class, which is what their goals and teaching them affect. Like as you build up, like if you want them to learn swords, and they build from E rank all the way up to S+ rank. And like I want them to be a mercenary. Well, they need to have at least a C in swords or something. And then he can take a test. Actually, I think if it's a little under, like if it's at the prereq, it's 100% pass if you have all the prereqs filled. If you have less than that, it's like it can be like 38%, 60%.
I've seen them very well. I haven't taken any chances, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter being like, I'm getting Fire Emblem like, where they just are failing their tests at like 90%.
I did the correct way and saved, and then just thought if I could.
Mao, you're too smart. Dang it.
I passed one with like a 40% chance.
But that's cheating.
The professor is cheating. It's gaming the system.
Yeah, it's a game. I'm gaming the game.
Whoa.
I'm playing the game.
I believe they call that proper tactics, and if I understand correctly, Fire Emblem is a tactics game?
Yeah.
That's what Akodo would say for sure.
That sounds... I don't understand, and therefore it makes me angry. And that sounds stupid.
Actually, one thing I really wish this game had was like the amount of save slots that Persona did, because it only has 5. And I was like going through them like every week, like trying to save to a new slot. And even though I almost never go backwards, it just makes me feel more at peace in case I have to. I think the most I've ever gone back is like 2 weeks, and it was like once.
I've reset once because on New Game Plus, I spent my renown on the wrong thing on accident.
Oh, I just upped my professor rank, but yeah. So because you do have a professor rank in the game, which the higher your professor rank, the better weapons you can make, the more stuff you can do on your free day, and they introduced a system called adjuncts, which you can pair up characters together, which is sort of like the previous games had a literal pair-up system, but you could just do it with as many characters as you want. This one is very limited. It maxes out at 3. I just used it to build
support. Yeah, it's like the quickest way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so there are 3 houses, and you can recruit almost all the other students from the other houses, and I recruited them
all but 2, right? It depends. Also,
so there's Black Eagles of the Empire, housed by Edelgard, Blue Lions of the Holy Kingdom,
Fargus,
leaded by Dimitri, and the Noble Alliance, the
Western
Golden
Alliance.
Deer. Oh yeah, led by Claude. And all of them have like a bodyguard basically, and you can't recruit the Black Eagles or the Blue Lions bodyguard, and you can't recruit the Golden Eagles bodyguard if you're on the 4th playthrough, because there's
actually 4 routes.
4 routes to the game. Black Eagles have 2. One of them, which is the one me and Obs did first, you cannot recruit the Golden Deer's bodyguard.
Yeah, you can't recruit Hilda or Claude. If you're Blue Lions, you can recruit Hilda.
Yes. Though she is the hardest, because the only way you can recruit her is through pure support points. Everyone else has certain stats they look for, and you can give them gifts and stuff, and she does not accept gifts. Yeah, she's apparently she's very weird. I don't know why they made her different, but they did.
But they did.
I think she's a Golden Deer fan favorite. That's probably why.
Maybe
they saw it coming.
So
you want to talk about the presentation of this game?
What do you mean?
All right, just graphically it looks great. Obviously we're on the Switch now.
It is definitely a step up. It is.
We're not having like peg leg stuff anymore. I love the loading screen with the in the calendar, how it has the old sprite of Byleth. You can run around with them.
Running around.
Yeah, you can do that. Everything is voice acted, which is insane. Because there's a lot of side conversations and all this stuff, and they did a pretty good job with it. Like sometimes, about half the time on games with English voice acting that are Japanese games, I'm tempted to go to Japanese subs or Japanese audio. Not at all.
Voice acting in this game is amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Rhea in particular it does an extremely good job. In my opinion.
How many Matt Mercer characters are there?
I don't think I've heard him.
None.
I've heard Yuri Lowenthal's the random moot guard.
I don't think Matt Mercer's in this game.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
None of the critical.
I don't think anyone is. Yeah.
Yeah, none of the critical role cast.
They're taking way less stuff these days anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I was trying to.
The characters are just. After Fates is considered it's the Fire Emblem's punching bag at this point. Everyone,
which I liked it better than Awakening personally.
Down on it.
I'm like the one person who was really loved it.
It's fine. I think. I don't think the characters are all that great. Corrin is.
For sure.
Everyone.
Byleth is way cooler than Corrin.
Yeah. And I do quite enjoy Fates, but it is the Fire Emblem punching bag at this point. and people were really hesitant going into Three Houses, and now it's probably one of the best received. It's my favorite Fire Emblem of all time now, and
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's that sentiment is carried by a lot of people. The writing is really well done for the character.
The supports have all been good. There hasn't been one that I hated. There's always a few that are really annoying, and because the characters suck, and there's only one character I am just meh on, and the rest I like completely fine.
They really bait and switch you. They really set it up all of these characters have one they're just one-dimensional. They have one trait, and that's
which is how a lot of them are in the past,
Yeah,
so that's what you're expecting.
There's a lot of more depth that you get to, and just
the writing.
They really make you
up.
feel things.
They do without spoiling.
So, I want to mention Bernadette, the character who is basically
the hikikomori.
Yeah, she's afraid of everything. It wants to, stick it in her room, not go out anywhere. And a lot more than other characters, I think. Her supports are played a bit more for laughs, but once you start getting past the first supports, you find out why she is like she is.
Yeah,
and
it's
how
horrible.
It led to that way, and it's horrible, and you completely understand the abuse she's suffered through. And then the game has a time skip, and you get to see even more character development from all of these characters, and it's so good. Yeah, it's really well done. I love it. I don't
They went far and beyond what I expected.
I made the joke earlier. It's that it's training children to be soldiers generally leads to some pretty messed up stuff, and it's pretty true for a lot of characters. I think the best person I can think of is the Casper, from the Black Eagles, at least.
Casper is just a shonen protagonist.
He's very,
I love it. Because everyone else has this super tragic backstory, and they're fucked up because of it. He's only the second
son of a nobility and will inherit nothing, so he has to work for it himself. And he's the happiest guy.
And he just yells. He's the Black Clover protagonist. He kind of looks like him with blue hair. He has a giant axe. He just runs around and yells and fights people,
or just punches people.
Yep. I love his supports with Byleth because he's just learning not to immediately go punch bandits and stuff when they steal things.
Yeah,
it's try to talk to him at first. Yeah,
but then he also.
That was that. You're right, because his support. He's basically he stops a bandit that could have hurt these children.
Yes,
essentially.
And then you find out some stuff in a later support, but then. Yeah, it doesn't just stick to one thing the expected outcome either, because his A support also it's just not that my actions have consequences, that's it, but there's more to it. It's hard to talk about with it just ruining it, or just spoiling it, which I don't want to do, because that's a big part of Fire Emblem, is just getting to see these characters interact. There's there are technically 4 playthroughs, and really your character is the glue holding whoever you are with together. The main characters, when you're not paired with them, they really fall apart hard.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Really,
a lot of people, because all of them have they're this game is so gray,
yeah,
and basically whoever a lot of the people whoever side you're not on can really come across as the villain, and people have been really arguing is this person evil, is this person not evil, and it really basically your influence on them kind of is a deciding factor, I think. And they also you are kind of a silent protagonist, self-insert, and there's
kind of a plot reason.
Yeah, there's a plot reason. It's it's silly and I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of clever. Like I
There's
wouldn't want every game to do this, but like yeah, there's a reason you are like you are. And I mean, and it's nothing I had really come across before in that character set, or like with in that character situation of like, why do you seem like emotionless and
I am detached from everything.
One of my favorite characters. First off, Felix is just meta from the T-Dot game. He's like a nobleman. All he cares about is dueling people, sparring, becoming.
This guy meta, not meta in the.
Not you,
Well,
meta, but
exactly
the character
like
you played. He wants to duel. He wants to duel people. He just wants to get stronger. He is not about proving himself to his father or honor or anything. It's just like I just got to be like the best fighter I can be because that's what
a lot of his stuff is like him trying to.
And the way he talks to people is exactly how like Meta would talk to people.
Oh my god! I gotta
like
what
smart.
Is this?
His name is Felix.
With the blue.
He's got blue hair. Yeah.
Although you can recruit him with anyone.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I got. That's the faction I was gonna choose.
He's great. I love him. I love Hubert as well. Who comes off kind of creepy and will tell people basically the truth, but in the most asshole-ish manner possible.
He's also very self-aware of his image. Like, he definitely plays up the fact that sometimes people see him as scary. Like his Bernadette supports are very he's very self-aware about himself.
That's awesome.
Because he's like a gaunt, pale, tall, like vampiric-looking guy who's like a dark mage and stuff. Is like kind of his default build, and a lot of his supports are just like him going, "You're the reason we're going to end up failing because of your problems." He's like, "Pull your shit together for Lady Edelgard and stuff."
Yeah. One thing, about the stats that they did that I thought was cool is some of the characters have what's called a budding talent, which is something generally they're bad at, but if you work hard enough, they'll get like an extra skill and become good at it or whatever. So it's something I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When you said he's like a dark mage off the start or like default, his budding talent is lances, and he can become a real powerhouse. His when you finally unlock it fully, he gets a magic lance attack.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something other people get, but he gets it earlier, and then it's just really good for if you want to do magic. Like, it's the only issue, as we mentioned in Tessa's segment, magic's generally the best option to a lot of stuff.
It's really powerful.
So, yeah, magic's generally just super powerful. They also switched that up in that...
I like how
instead of
the characters have unique spells, too, is really cool.
Instead of magic being like you equip this book, you magic in this Fire Emblem is you just get so many uses per map. Like I get 5 fire uses, and 6.
And as you
whatever
prestige up, you'll get like more and more uses per battle. So,
but yeah, that was something I wanted to mention. They really shook it up, and it worked. They knocked it out of the park. It could have been. It
was
bad.
so much more than because I was just expecting like better graphics and better presentation.
Yeah,
because it's on the Switch. Because I did, I love the old games, but they're really not like the best thing ever. They're just fun. This is an actual like legitimate, really good game. So
yeah,
it's probably It's in contention with Breath of the Wild for my favorite Switch game. It probably is.
I mean, it's obviously my favorite.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's so good.
Only more reason to pick it up for myself.
So much reason to replay the game too.
This the worst part about it is like I'm listening to you guys, and I know I've been quiet the whole time, but just like the more and more you talk about it, the more I really want to grab this game.
It's very good, and Lily should play it as well because she likes Fire Emblem.
I might just grab this and burn through it.
Yeah. So there are 4 storylines, and you don't get the full picture unless you play all 4, which can be seen as a downside for some people, because they said it was like 200 hours, but I doubt it's going to be that.
It's
much.
not that. Like it took me 50 hours for my first playthrough.
And then the New Game Plus really you can really, it definitely
you can skip a lot of that.
Skip a lot of the management stuff,
especially if you start unlocking the statues. Like I'm leveling up so much faster because I have 2 of the XP bonuses on them.
Yeah.
So
I have all of them. My statues are almost complete. We're almost completely filled up by the first game.
Wow.
Yeah, they have these statues that you can. So you unlock something called Renown, which you can spend at these statues, which let you make you a better teacher or give you extra XP and stuff like that. But yeah, me and Obs both beat the probably the route you weren't really supposed to play first. Probably the route you were supposed to play last.
She kind of felt like the main character. Too weirdly, like playing through it, but I don't know. I'm only like almost halfway through the Blue Line route, so
right. So we've both, and now we've diverged on our playthroughs. He's playing Blue Lions, I'm playing Golden Eagles, and I know like each of the routes sort of have a different. Mainly the biggest diverging part is in the time skip, I believe.
Yeah, so far it's been pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like the characters obviously have different perspectives. The Blue Lines one has been pretty interesting because Fargus is pretty heavily dealt with in the first part of the game, the pre-time skip stuff, because there's like lords in Fargus who rebel that are tied to one of the characters. There's something else too.
Sylvain. Yeah, Sylvain and Ash.
Yeah.
Which are 2 Blue Lions characters, both.
Yeah, and Sylvain's brother leads a group of bandits
in the pre-time skip. Yeah, there's what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and like so the route Obs and I did, there was one part, like there's this other faction that is just kind of skipped, like are dealt with in the epilogue basically, and they are more fleshed out in the Golden Deers route. So, and when they didn't want to make you play through that same stuff,
they feel more like the traditional Fire Emblem like bad guys typically too, like some secret society kind of thing.
Like. So people who only play one route are like, it just kind of feels a little weird, like the way it was dealt with. But yeah, so I think the game really, like, it wants you to play all of it to get the full story, but that can be a long time. Also, the game is kind of, at least, especially in regards to that particular faction, it's very, like, obvious with, like, these guys are obviously the bad guys.
Yeah.
Like...
They're not going to pull the wool over your eyes.
Right. So that the writing in that regard is a little, like, silly,
but the writing between, like, the 3 houses, the conflicts between them are much better. Because they are, like you were saying, they're all very gray. It's hard to tell if they're actually evil or not.
It feels like with any good writing and a story, which, I mean, from what I'm hearing, sounds amazing, this game, there's always, like, one aspect that just seems to kind of fall through the cracks. And it just so happens that it's the 4th quote unquote evil faction that is
they're obviously the bad, like,
they're obviously the bad guys. They really try, but I mean, you have the obvious bad guys, and then you have the houses, which are great. So
like even the every month when you can explore the monastery, and everyone has unique dialogue for that month. Like, a lot of the, like, in the early stuff are, like, even the other characters you talk to are like, this person seems really suspicious. And then it turns out they're a villain.
Yeah. It's like, even they know.
Yeah. Which I think is it's sort of to, like, I think there's a reason for it, but, because, again, you have, like, a lot of stuff going on with the house relationships. Mm-hmm. It just they're there to, like, serve the typical Fire Emblem villain route. Also, the difficulty is nothing, like, it has a normal mode and a hard mode, which is really an easy mode and a normal mode. Like, this is what they really should have been labeled.
The hard is the easy and the normal almost at
Yeah, without the weapon triangle, you won't just get randomly ganked by stuff a lot of the time. Like,
Yeah.
you can
Also,
kind of turn off your brain for some of the fights.
yeah, they also have the rewind system that was in Echoes. You can rewind so many times per battle.
I think the beasts are new too.
Oh yeah,
Correct
those.
me if I'm wrong.
No playable transforming characters, but the game did add beasts like that take up multiple squares and have like a shield you have to break first. And it's definitely interesting and new.
If you completely break their shield, you'll get like mats you can use to forge weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they are going to release a harder difficulty. I think possibly 2 harder. I think Infernal and Lunatic or something. Later, I think probably one of them should have been in the base game. If I'm being honest.
for sure.
Like I do think the base difficulties are not as hard as they probably should be. And then all the master classes, the very last tier, are most of them are riding, which I didn't like, or on a horse. I would have liked more infantry options.
I agree.
There are one.
Though the samurai one looks cool, the magic and sword one.
There is, there's a male one, a female one, and then a neutral one, which is the it's called Mortal Savant, which is the samurai one, which uses magic.
Who uses magic?
Swords. So there are a few issues I have, but for the most part, I think it's amazing.
Solid 9 out of 10 game for me.
Easily the best Fire Emblem game I've ever played.
Yeah. So, if you got a Switch, get it. It's so good. It's so good.
I'll be picking it up soon enough here once I just find the time.
Again, I feel blessed because Final Fantasy XIV was amazing, and now I'm getting this other amazing game right after it. And I'm about to get my other life sim game in 2 months.
I saw that they're condensing the main story of Final Fantasy XIV in like the 0.3 patch of whatever number they're currently on. So I think in like a year, maybe I'll get around to playing it when that patch drops.
Yeah, the main storyline they're working to condense down. They actually talked about it just yesterday in a live letter, but they made mention that they are compacting it. Yeah, that's the big gate, and they are going to compact it because they recognize that that's the biggest complaint people have with the game right now.
So yeah, maybe I'll finally get around to playing that.
It's really good.
It's worth it.
It's really good.
But anyway,
we're so blessed. What a time to be a gamer.
I know, right?
A lot of good stuff.
We had 2017, 2019, 2020's looking good. 2018 was all right. You got some stuff in there, but
no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great year, and the next year also gonna be great. We got awesome things coming out.
I know we do. Aren't you super excited for the Mailman game that's coming out in like a month too?
No,
Kojima's game.
I've always wanted to be a USPS delivery person.
You know what? I'm excited to watch Let's Plays of that. That's what I'm going to be excited to do. Maybe work will slow down. I'll get to do that. Anyways, this has been episode 88, a podcast of 5 Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of 5 Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and talk about topic day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Check us out on Twitter at Podcast5R, Facebook P5R Podcast, Meta and Lily Stream, twitch.tv/PSOFlow, Tetsuo's blog, geekyspirit.com, and I will put the link to his Google Doc with the Maho Shoujo game on there, so be sure to check that out. I know a lot of you are Fate fans. I think like 90% of our message or like our comments are like people who love Fate.
I feel like there are a lot of Mecha versus Kaiju, so we might want to do another monthly module.
We will talk if we can all get together on a weekend day. I would be happy to do that because I really like the game. So.
I still have my big book of Kaiju that I barely tapped into, so
we barely touched page 1. I've got 20 more.
You guys only take phase 1 of Akuma no Oni, so
we need to fight the other Oni lords. As,
You-
Ka-
There we go.
as
We're gonna make a
Kaiju.
game where we fight all the Oni lords. There you go.
You
Oni
just-
hunters.
We already did
not
that.
have them within the book, so
So
Actually, that's true. We did kill a lot of
So we
Onis.
should really just make an L5R Mecha vs. Kaiju game.
That's all I'm hearing right now.
It's just
Oh, man. I
Roku
would
go-
love
R2K. There you go.
Samurai Max. I
Yeah.
can dig it.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
See ya.